is upon us, and it's that time where people set their goals and intentions for the upcoming 12 months. But people struggle to actually identify what they want to achieve within that year. Why is this? Well, like a road trip without a destination and a run without a finish line, they lack a clear direction and vision. And that's why in this video, I'm going to go over exactly how to create a vision board for 2022 and how it will help you achieve your goals. For those of you new to my channel, hi, my name is Abby, and I had a pretty crazy year. I completed my first full year of running my own business. I had a personal brand photo shoot. I opened an online store for designers and much, much more. At the start of 2021, this is something that I have only ever dreamed of. The crazy thing is, I achieved all of this without setting any goals whatsoever. And if I'm honest, I did completely wing it. But as we're heading into 2022, I thought to myself, what could I achieve if I actually set some intentions and had a clear purpose? So I did the classic, sit down, try and write my goals, but to my surprise, I struggled. My mind went blank and I actually had no idea what I wanted to achieve. So that's where creating a vision board comes in. So without further ado, let's get into the video. So a vision board is a constant visual reminder of the goals we want to achieve. It gives you a really clear direction and helps you achieve mental clarity. So we are first going to identify our vision, and then we're going to get into designing and creating the vision board, the fun part, which we're going to do in Photoshop. So our vision, this is where we want to figure out what we want to achieve within the year. And a good place to start is creating what is known as life categories. Here's an example of what I use, and you can too. Health, relationships, work/career, finances, and personal development/skills. Now, each area of our life has been identified. We can now spend around 5 to 10 minutes on each category, figuring out exactly what we want to achieve. If you find yourself really struggling trying to identify what it is you want to achieve, one exercise I recommend is actually turning it on its head and figuring out what it is you don't want. So identify a category and then ask yourself, what is it that I don't want from this area of my life? This will then hopefully help you gain some clarity. Let's go through an example together. So let's take the career life area, as I feel like a lot of people will probably struggle with this and knowing what it is they want to achieve. So we can ask ourselves questions like the following. What don't you want to do as a job? Do you want to do creative work? Do you want to work for yourself or for someone else? Often asking ourselves what we don't want shows us exactly what we desire. If this still doesn't help identify what it is you want to achieve, I would ask your family and friends because they know you best. I would also get rid of distractions like your phone so you can give your mind some space and some time to think. Next, on to action points. After concluding what it is we want, the next step is to identify the actions that, if done, will help us achieve what we desire from each life area. Let's say in the career area, we stated we wanted to improve as a designer. An action point for this could be dedicating 2 hours a week completing a new design course. Having action points in place for each vision and goal makes achieving them really straightforward, because you know if you consistently complete those actions, you will get whatever you desire. It sounds so simple, but simple works. For reference, action points are essentially habits. So if I envision myself to be active, fit, and healthy, then a suitable action point would be to make sure I work out 5 times a week. Now, once the action points have been set, we can now move on to outcomes. So outcomes are essentially asking yourself, if I complete those actions, what will the outcome be? If we do the action point of dedicating time each week for the online class and improving as a designer, the outcomes could look something like this. An increased belief and confidence with your design skills, increasing your prices when working with clients, and an increase of the quality of design work. Now we have gone through all of the stages for identifying our vision, we can now get into the fun part of actually designing and creating our vision board. Just before we do that though, if you want even more clarity into setting your goals and building your habits, I recommend watching a previous video where I showed and discussed the importance of setting systems in place for your goals and help identifying building those habits. I will leave a link in my description. So now it is the majorly fun part part of creating and designing our vision board. So all of that hard work that we've put into actually figuring out our vision, we are now going to create something visual that will explain everything in a really pretty way. I really recommend printing this out or putting it somewhere where you spend a lot of time so it can act as a constant reminder. Before we move on, this video is kindly sponsored by my favorites, Envato Elements. So they are my go-to for mockups, fonts, images, design assets, and if you are a designer looking for a platform that holds everything in one place, then you will not be disappointed. I'm actually going to be using some design assets, some overlays, some rips, some collagey stuff that I'm going to be adding to my vision board. That is all from Envato Elements. So if you want to check that out, make sure you stick around. I will leave a link in the description if you want to check out Envato Elements. So the first stage and knowing where to start is heading over to Pinterest and getting some inspiration and some images that will go on the board. So on my Pinterest board, I've actually split it up into my life areas. So we should have something that looks a little like this. So we've got a collage style, so the actual look of our vision board, I really want to go for that really nice collage and scrapbook look. I've got finances, and within this I've got some things that have a meaning to me, personal development, and so on with the life areas that I have chosen. Now into the actual design. So I'm going to be using Adobe Photoshop to create a really nice collage. Because we're using a lot of photos, Photoshop is the best place to do this. But if you don't have Photoshop, then I recommend using Canva. It is a really good place for creating those collages, and if you want to do a vision board just like this. I actually have a 30-day free trial within my description if you want the full version. So it can be quite daunting knowing where to start. So I've saved all the images from Pinterest into a folder and added any assets that I want to use throughout this. So the next stage is I've dumped all of those images into Photoshop and I've just hidden them so I can start working on individual layers. The idea is we're going to go for that collage style, which means I'm going to have to remove some backgrounds of some images and leave some others, just so we can create that really nice kind of scrapbook feel. So the first image that I'm actually going to remove the background from is an image of myself. Now this is a good tip for a vision board, is to actually include something personal like an image of yourself or images that you have previously taken on your phone. This just makes it a lot more personal. So we're going to go to select subject, and this will basically just pick out that foreground bit of the picture, which will be myself. Sometimes it works really well, sometimes it doesn't, and you have to kind of go in, but normally when the image is clear it works perfectly. So it has picked that outline, and I'm just going to head down to the bottom and click the mask button. So it has now removed the background and I can kind of move my image around to where I want it. So I'm going to go ahead and do this to some of the images, and I'm just going to place the images into a kind of order for how I want the vision board to look. Okay, so we've got a kind of rough layout so far, and I kind of just want to talk over some of the points and the images within my vision board. So as you can see, we've got me as the forefront. I've got some things to do with YouTube. I actually took a screenshot of a YouTuber called Ali Abdaal. He does YouTube videos on productivity, and he's just incredible. If you want some inspiration of being as productive as possible, he is the guy. But he put a story up the other day of his YouTube analytics, and they were insane. So I have added it to my vision board as kind of like a manifestation of what I want to achieve with YouTube and what I want my analytics to look like, because they are just insane. I also want to manipulate an image of my YouTube subscribers so far. So at the moment I am on 53,975, and I am actually gonna Photoshop this, and I'm gonna put 100,000 because that is my goal for the end of the year. So I am literally gonna write 100,000. I'm gonna get my clone tool to remove the numbers, and I'm just gonna move the subscribers up so it looks like I have 100,000 subscribers. So we are manifesting that amount of numbers. So once that is done, I'm placing that in the corner, and the layout looks all right at the moment. There is obviously some tweaks I need to do. I think the only thing is missing now is like a quote or something. So I have one in my Pinterest board, and it is basically the best way to gain self-confidence is to do what you are afraid to do. And I'm always speaking out about pushing yourself out of your comfort zone, so always trying to do things that scare you. And my word and my intention for the year is to seek discomfort. So you will see on the left hand side, there is a really nice image of an arm that has a tattoo of seek discomfort and a quote that relates to that too. So I'm just gonna have a play around with the layout and get it to exactly how I want it, and then I can start adding some more elements into this to make it look more like a scrapbook. So I have written out some words. So I've written out 3 words that I kind of want to use throughout the year. So my 3 words are community, balance, and consistency. So continue building that online community that I have right now with my Instagram and my YouTube channel. Having a work-life balance, so that is something I struggled with in the past, and I really want to make a real commitment to actually having a balance in life and doing some personal things instead of just working all of the time. And then the last one is consistency, because last year I absolutely smashed that, and I really want to continue to keep that up, because that is really the key to my success, is just being as consistent as possible. So having that on there will make me strive to be as consistent as possible. So these now have been placed within my vision board, and they look really nice because it's getting that like scrapbook feeling. And it has inspired me to actually start adding some more white within this. So I think what I'm gonna do is around some of the images, like the image of myself, I'm actually going to create like a white outline as if the image has been cut out of a book and placed within the vision board. So I really like that idea. So I'm just going to grab the pen tool and I'm going to go around a few of the images and fill it with the color white. So the next place that I want to do is the top right hand corner, which is my manifestation of the 100,000 subscribers. It kind of looks like it's just placed there, and we want to get more of that scrapbooky feel. So I have downloaded a Photoshop template from Envato Elements, which is a Polaroid, and I think it's going to look really nice because I can like place it on a slant at the top and it will look like it has kind of been stuck there in a scrapbook way. So I'm going to open the template. I am going to copy and paste my image inside the layer. We are going to press done, and it should create the Polaroid. That looks incredible. I really like that. So now I'm literally just gonna copy and paste this over into our file of the vision board. I'm just gonna merge the layers because I think they're all separate at the moment. We're gonna move it to the top right-hand corner, and I'm just gonna overlay it. I really like the kind of like sellotape as well in the corners. That is really, really nice. So now it is placed and it looks incredible. It's adding to that collage style that I wanted. So I'm really pleased that I did that. The next assets that I'm gonna use from Envato are some like scrapbook rips. So I've actually got some PNGs of just some paper rips that I'm gonna add to the straight parts of images. So as you can see, for example, the top image of the revenue and then the images of the 2 friends hugging in the water, it kind of looks just a bit out of place, and I want there to be something in the way so that you can't see that straight line. So I think adding the rips in between these images will make it look really, really nice. So I'm going to add them in, and hopefully it looks like a scrapbook. So they have been added, and I actually had a really good idea after this to create my own like doodles. So what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to go and grab a pen and paper. I'm going to just doodle some fun and quirky things that I can add and overlay onto this image. Hopefully it looks good, but we will see. Okay, doodles have been done and they look incredible. So what I've done is taken a photo of this, airdropped it to my iMac, placed it in Adobe Illustrator, and now I'm gonna basically image trace the image to turn all of the lines into a vector. So to do this, I am gonna go to image trace. I don't think silhouettes will work, so I'm just gonna try that. No, that looks horrible. So I think the next one is doing sketched art, because this is a sketched art style. Perfect, that looks incredible. How cool does that look? So now we're just gonna expand it, which will expand all of the lines, and it has now made it into a vectorized artwork. So all of my doodles just look incredible, and you can actually use them on their own and they are a vector. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to transfer some of these images, overlay them onto my vision board, and just make it look even more of that scrapbook style, and it adds that personal touch of the own drawings that I have created. Oh my god, the doodles just have added something incredible, and I'm so glad that I actually had a vision to do that. It makes this vision board really personal to me because I have hand drawn those things and now they're on my vision board, and it adds to that kind of like scrapbook doodle feel that I was going for. So that is something that I really recommend as well, is that when you do your vision board, make it really personal to yourself. So like I said, use images of yourself, because there's nothing worse than either getting a vision board from Pinterest and just kind of downloading it, putting it as your background. Make your own vision board, make it personal and make it meaningful. So that has been done. And now I think what I want to do is actually add like an overlay onto this image. So at the moment, our colors are kind of a bit all over the place. Things don't look like they belong. So adding an overlay will kind of tie everything into one another, and it will create like a kind of like a photo filter so that everything looks connected and as one. So I have downloaded, I think I've got some holographic paper backgrounds from Envato Elements, and I think I'm gonna go with number 7, which is like a really nice pink one. I really like those kind of like holographic lights within them, so that's gonna work well. So now I'm just gonna head to my appearance, and I think what I'm gonna do is change it to soft light. I think soft light may work well. That looks incredible. Gonna change the opacity down, and I think I have like a scrunched up wrinkled paper somewhere within my file. So I think I'm gonna add that as well, just to add to that scrapbook feel even more. So once again, I'm gonna drop that in, gonna change this. I think, I don't know if soft light will work. I think the best thing when you're trying to change your appearance is to actually just try out every single option and see which one works the best. So for this instance, linear light works really nicely. So that looks incredible. It looks like I've literally put a filter over these images, and now they look like they all belong to one another. So I think I'm finally gonna finish off with the adjustments panel. I'm gonna just change the vibrance, the saturation, the contrast, and the brightness to get this to my desired look. Okay, the vision board is complete and it looks absolutely incredible. I am so glad I went for that scrapbook look. There's so many different ways that you can do a vision board. You can have a really nice, strict, minimal layout. You can go really collagey. You can just do whatever you want. Go for the style that you like, because at the end of the day, it is your vision board. So I just want to talk about a few things within my vision board, because I feel like I've only spoken about a couple on here. So we've got a lot of things about YouTube on here. I actually have the YouTube 100,000 plaque on there, because that is a vision. Once we hit that subscriber account, I want that to hang on my wall, so that can be something that I have achieved within the year. The next thing I have on the bottom left-hand corner, you're probably thinking, why is there a bath there? If you don't know me well enough, I adore baths. Like, I will have baths over showers any day. So the dream in the long run is to actually have a massive bathroom with an incredible bath in it. So I am manifesting getting that bath, working my bum off to be able to afford an incredible bathroom. I've mentioned about seeking discomfort. I really love that image in there. We've got some images of friends, which relates to having balance within my life and actually doing hobbies and stuff with friends, going on holiday. One of my hobbies and things that I want to start is actually reading a book. So I have a habit tracker now, which is called Habitify. It is an incredible habit tracker if you don't have it already. And I've basically got on there to read for 30 minutes 2 times a week, and it's going really well. So the book I'm reading at the moment is Atomic Habits, and it is an incredible book. I've read it before, but I really want to nail down on my habits and actually put things into practice. So if you want a book about habits, then I really recommend reading Atomic Habits. Then I've got an image of some skincare, a girl with a mask on. I love masks, and I'm really bad at doing skincare, like having a skincare routine. So I've added that as a habit and making sure that I have a really good skincare routine. So it's little things on there that actually are going to make a big difference to me in the long run. So I am so pleased with my vision board, and the final step that I want to do is print it out. I'm going to put it in a frame and I'm going to hang it on my wall. So I really hope you have enjoyed this vision board video, and it's given you some inspiration on how to actually create your vision and achieve them, whilst also creating the actual vision board as well. If you do end up creating your very own vision board, make sure you tag me on Instagram, send me a message. I want to see exactly what your vision board looks like and what visions you have for 2022. If you have enjoyed this video, make sure to give it a big thumbs up, hit that subscribe button, and I will see you at the next video.